Windmere was a town full of whispers. They were whispers of baking bread and rustling leaves. They were whispers of children laughing and dogs barking playfully. Most of all, they were whispers of secrets, shared on the wind that never seemed to stop blowing. It was a place where everyone knew everyone, and life moved at the pace of a lazy river. In the heart of Windmere lived a boy named Lucas. Lucas was a quiet boy, with messy brown hair and eyes that held the blue of a summer sky. He loved to read, his head always stuck in a book, his imagination soaring to far-off lands. He was small for his age, often overlooked, just another face in the crowd. Or so everyone thought. Lucas lived in a cosy little cottage on the edge of town with his parents. His mother was a baker, her shop filled with the warm, comforting smells of fresh bread and sweet pastries. His father was a carpenter, his hands rough and calloused from years of working with wood. Life was simple, predictable, and for Lucas, a little bit boring. That is, until the day he flew. It was a Saturday, and Lucas was in his backyard trying to fly a kite. The wind was being particularly difficult that day, whipping the kite back and forth as if it were trying to fight its way free. Lucas chased after it, his feet pounding on the soft earth. Suddenly, Lucas felt a strange sensation. It was as if something was lifting him, pulling him upwards. He looked down and gasped. His feet were no longer touching the ground. He was floating in the air. He brought his hand up to his face, his fingers trembling. This couldn't be real, could it? Lucas let out a startled yelp as he realized he was getting higher. He gripped the string of his kite tightly, his knuckles turning white. He didn't know how he was doing this, but he knew he had to get down. Slowly, tentatively, he willed himself back to earth, landing with a soft thud on the grass. He sat there for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest, trying to make sense of what had just happened. He had flown. Lucas, the quiet boy from Windmere, had actually flown. Fear warred with excitement in Lucas's chest. He knew he couldn't tell anyone about what had happened. They wouldn't understand. They'd think he was crazy. So Lucas kept his secret, locked away in his heart, a treasure he wasn't sure he was ready to share. Every night when the moon painted the sky with silver light, Lucas would sneak out of his window. He would fly over the sleeping town of Windmere, his laughter carried away on the breeze. He soared above the trees, feeling the wind tousle his hair. The world spread out beneath him like a magical map. He practiced dipping and diving, soaring high above the church steeple, then swooping low over the whispering wheat fields. The world felt bigger, wider, full of endless possibilities. With each passing night, Lucas grew more confident. He discovered he could control his flight with ease, his body responding instinctively to his thoughts. He felt free, truly free, for the first time in his life. But the secret weighed heavily on him. He longed to share his gift, but the fear of being different, of being ostracized, kept him silent. One sunny afternoon, Lucas was walking home from school when he heard a frantic mewing. He stopped by the old oak tree at the edge of the schoolyard, his eyes scanning the branches. There, high up on a branch, sat a tiny kitten, its grey fur fluffed up in fear. It was trapped. Lucas knew he had to help, but the lowest branches were too high for him to reach. He glanced around, hoping to spot an adult, but the schoolyard was deserted. Then he saw her, Mia. Mia, with her long blonde braids and bright, curious eyes, was walking towards him, her gaze fixed on the trapped kitten. "We have to help it," she said, her voice filled with concern. Lucas hesitated, his heart pounding in his chest. This was it, the moment he would have to reveal his secret. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes. He had to save the kitten. He just had to. When Lucas opened his eyes, he saw the astonishment on Mia's face. He was hovering in the air, his feet a foot above the ground. He gave her a sheepish grin. "Don't freak out," he whispered before shooting up towards the kitten.